The Shiv Sena has come to the defence of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, the BJP's ideological mentor, after the poet and lyricist Javed Akhtar's comments in which Mr Akhtar compared the RSS to the Taliban. Now, Mr Akhtar was completely wrong in comparing the two, is what the Shiv Sena has now declared. There's a political battle which has erupted after Mr Akhtar's interview to NDTV, where he drew parallels between the RSS and the Taliban. The Congress, meanwhile, has chosen to back Mr Akhtar, while earlier the BJP threatened to block Javed Akhtar's films. We are debating this evening. This evening. Before that, here's a look at what Javed Akhtar had to say.
You see, look at the right wing objectively, without any passion, with some objectivity. They are the same people. Now their names are different, or their faces are different, but ultimately, if you look at their value system, it is the same. Vis-a-vis gender, vis-a-vis minorities, they have no love lost for minorities like Taliban. They want women to be at home and on the margin like Taliban. So what is the difference between the two? They think no law is superior than their religious faith. That is what Taliban says. So where are you different from them? And how are you so upset? And by being upset, you are making more Taliban. It's interesting.
All right, well, joining us now to look at those remarks which have been, criticized heavily by the BJP. They found support, perhaps unlikely support at this stage, considering their political equation from the Shiv Sena. We're joined by Niranjan Shetty, spokesperson of the BJP in Maharashtra, Anand Dubey, spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, and Sanjay Jha, who joins us as a political analyst. Anand Dubey ji, जावेद अख्तर साहब ने जो कहा था इस बारे में उन्होंने काफी क्लैरिफाई किया था, उन्होंने काफी और चीज भी कहा था, जैसे उन्होंने कहा था जस्ट लाइक द तालिबान वांट एन इस्लामिक स्टेट, देयर आर दोज हु वांट अ हिंदू राष्ट्र, दीज पीपल आर ऑफ द सेम माइंडसेट, बी इट मुस्लिम, क्रिश्चियन, जूज और हिंदूज. तो मतलब उन्होंने जो कहा था काफी एग्जाम्पल्स दिया था, सिर्फ हिंदुत्व के बारे में नहीं कहा था, और भी कुछ कहा था. तो इस पे आपका क्या राय है?
देखिए, सबसे पहले आपको बता दूं कि जो तालिबान से आरएसएस की तुलना जावेद साहब ने किया है, यह बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, यह निंदा के पात्र योग्य है. क्योंकि आप देखिए कि आरएसएस एक विचारधारा है या कोई राजनीतिक दल नहीं है, और आप उसकी तुलना किसके साथ कर रहे हैं? अफगानिस्तान की धरती पर तालिबान ने जो मानवता का शोषण किया है, जो समाज को एक खतरा पैदा किया है, आप उसके साथ एक आरएसएस की तुलना कर रहे हैं. हम तो समझते थे कि आदरणीय जावेद साहब एक बहुत ही सुलझे हुए व्यक्तित्व है, वो कवि हैं, कविता के माध्यम से देश की सेवा करते हैं. उन्होंने जब जब देशद्रोही ताकतों ने भारत के ऊपर कविता के माध्यम से या किसी दोहे के माध्यम से आक्रमण किया, तब तक उसका उन्होंने जवाब भी दिया है. ऐसे जावेद अख्तर जो कि राष्ट्रगान तब गाते थे जब कट्टरपंथी उसका विरोध करते थे, तब ऐसे जावेद अख्तर साहब से यह उम्मीद नहीं थी कि इतना बड़ा विवाद का कारण बन जाए. आप देखिए कि अफगानिस्तान की धरती पर जिस प्रकार से तालिबानियों ने वहां की प्रजा, वहां की जनता को एक कुशासित किया, उनके ऊपर हमले किए, माताओं और बहनों पर अत्याचार. नहीं,
जरूर आनंद जी, जरूर. और जो अफगानिस्तान में हो रहा है वो हमको पता है.
एक मिनट, लाखों लोग अपना घर छोड़ने पर मजबूर हो गए.
क्या आप जावेद साहब ने ये भी कहा, आनंद जी ये सुन लीजिए, इन्होंने जावेद साहब ने ये भी कहा, ऑफ कोर्स द तालिबान इज बारबेरिक, देयर एक्शंस आर रेप्रिहेंसिबल, बट दोज सपोर्टिंग द आरएसएस, वीएचपी एंड बजरंग दल आर ऑल द सेम. अब आप आरएसएस के बारे में कह रहे, पर मारपीट के बारे में जब लोग कहते, अटैक्स ऑन पब्लिक लाइव्स, कुछ स्थितियों में जब लोग इसके बारे में बात करते हैं तो जरूर बजरंग दल का नाम आता है.
नहीं, हिंसा के हम खिलाफ हैं, लेकिन
करेक्ट. तो हिंसा के खिलाफ अगर आप हैं और जावेद साहब ने बजरंग दल का नाम लिया है तो उसमें गलती क्या है?
मैं बता रहा हूं, यद्यपि आपकी विचारधारा धर्मनिरपेक्ष है, इसके लिए अगर कोई हिंदू राष्ट्र की संकल्पना करता है तो क्या आपकी निगाह में वो तालिबानी मानसिकता का व्यक्ति होता है? मेरा इसका विरोध है. शिवसेना पार्टी का इस बात पर विरोध है, क्योंकि आप देखिए कि जिस प्रकार अफगानिस्तान की धरती पर क्रूरता अपने चरम पर है, क्या आपने कभी भारत में ऐसा देखा है? हम राम और कृष्ण की धरती हैं, हम गंगा यमुना की धरती हैं, हम सभ्यता और संस्कृति की धरती हैं।
अच्छा आनंद जी, एक मिनट, संजय झा रिस्पॉन्ड टू दैट. The basic point he's saying is we are not the Taliban. That's the bottom line. I think you're on mute, Sanjay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Vishnu, there is no denying that comparisons are odious to begin with. But, I don't think Mr. Akhtar was actually making a statement that has to be taken so literally. He was basically trying to make an analogy of the fact that because the Taliban is hardliner, regressive, very religion driven, and at the end of the day does practice fairly brazen persecution of those that it doesn't like. He basically drew a parallel to the RSS in India, which espouses the cause of the Hindu Rashtra. I don't think there is any ambiguity on this at all. I think Abhay, whom I happen to know pretty well, is aware of this reality. Anand Dubey, sorry. And as is Mr. Shetty. You see, there is no, shall we say, kind of mystery behind the fact that the RSS does aspire to make India a Hindu Rashtra. That has been its maxim or its credo for a long time. It actually lives on that very fundamental principle. So I really don't see why is the BJP getting so uptight about it, because the reality of India today is that when people are being killed in lynching deaths, which I consider is so brutal, ghastly and barbaric, how many people within the Sangh Parivar have really condemned that? You have had situations where ministers have garlanded those killers or the accused, whatever you might want to call it. Flags have been laid on the bodies of those who are the accused or the killers to celebrate them. These are very ugly manifestations of what I call as a country that is clearly gone into some kind of a religious centric mode.
Okay,
and
all right.
The RSS and BJP define that.
So, Mr. Shetty, now one of your leaders actually said that they would prevent the release of Javed Akhtar's films if he didn't apologize and things like that. Isn't that Talibanization? Isn't that exactly, the use of force or the threat of the use of force? You can disagree with his comments. Niranjanji, go ahead.
Yeah. See, first of all, what exactly Mr. Anand Dubey has specifically mentioned everything about what Mr. Javed Akhtar has done. As far as the stopping of his screening is concerned, in democracy, we have every right. In democracy, everything can be done. It's not that we never said that we'll take law into hands. There's a kind of protest that we can do. So I don't think anybody can stop us
so
from
when you
doing a
say we will
democratic
prevent
protest.
the release of a film, you'll protest his film. You won't physically prevent its release, because that happens all the time in our country also.
Vishnu, in democracy, it is part of a protest.
Okay.
So we have every right to protest, and of course, what kind of if suppose there is no kind of our youth wing also went and protested. We haven't stone pelted or anything. In democracy, we are allowed to do such kind of protest. We have the right to go and air that we do not agree with what these statements are.
Okay. But he's qualified these statements as well, Mr. Shetty. That's a question I was asking Anandji.
No.
Right?
First of all, Vishnu, I would like to say he forgets that, first of all, he has never understood what RSS and BJP is, or Bajrang Dal is. He forgets that Shahnawaz Hussain is the same person who affiliated to RSS. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi is affiliated to RSS. There were Alim Khan, my friend Sanjay Jha also knows. Alim Khan was once upon a time.
No, but Niranjanji, as you know, the percentage of minority representation in the BJP or representation by Muslim MPs and MLAs in the party is very, very low.
The tallest person, Sikandar ji, had left Congress and he had joined BJP.
No, but sir, you do know when I say about numbers, so I'm not sure that argument really stands.
Apart from that, even Najma Heptullah ji, Sanjay ji knows that Najma Heptullah ji is in BJP.
Vishnu, one quick point.
Yes, Mr. Jha.
Vishnu, I think Niranjan ji, I need to just kind of tell him the one data that possibly is hard to refute. and that will establish the identity politics of the bigotry or the majoritarianism that has become the narrative of the current ruling dispensation. In 2014 and 2019 Lok Sabha elections, the BJP wins over 282 seats in 303, and you don't have a single Muslim member of parliament from Lok Sabha. In Uttar Pradesh, which if it was a country would be the 6th largest country in the world, with an 18% Muslim population, the BJP does not give a single ticket to a Muslim candidate for an MLA election. I mean, if this is not brazen discrimination, I would even call it segregation, then what is?
Mr. Shetty, you want to reply to that, because in a sense that's what
I don't think
Mr. Akhtar was referring to.
I don't, Vishnu, you know that we need not show our, love for the Muslims or the minority by giving them the tickets. Our Prime Minister has done much more ahead of that.
Okay.
I don't think so. That needs to
All
be
right.
done.
So look, I mean,
by giving tickets and appeasing them.
Right.
The appeasing politics has been done by Congress.
okay, let's try and bring this back to the remarks made by Javed Akhtar. We've got three sides of this debate over here. Sanjay, of course, here as a commentator. I need to wrap this up. I'd like to thank you all very much for being with us. The BJP says all protests against Javed Akhtar's films will be peaceful, as they have already been. And the Shiv Sena says that they disagree with the comparison with the Taliban.